early November, and we are looking to get started on this nice 68 here, which we've been putting off for a while. We had a lot of projects ahead of it, and definitely a patient man who is willing to wait for me to get to it. So it's essentially, at this point, a no start. It was towed here. It's supposed to have very low mileage on it, as it was owned by a fire department. When it got sold from the fire department, had like 12,000 miles on it. There's some documentation on that, so everything I've seen so far indicates that it is low mileage, but we'll see if that, 12,000 mile number seems to hold up. So anyway, there was some work done with it, some distributor work. Somebody put in a new distributor, high-rise manifold, 4-barrel carburetor, things like that. Anyway, it's ended up here as a no start. And so we're just going to start from scratch. We've got a DUI brand distributor that we plan on putting in there. And we've got a used battery right now. We're not going to do anything with a new battery until we're sure that it runs and it's roadworthy, which I have no doubt that it should be. I have high hopes for this van. So let's get into it. Okay, we've moved forward with a few projects on this, basically installing this distributor. I can't say enough about these DUI brand distributors, except they're sometimes hard to get. They have to have patience to get them. This one, it took me, 6-8 weeks, and for the 6-cylinder one, it took me 3-4 months. They're so back ordered. I believe what they do is they remanufacture existing GM products to their specs. And anyway, I have not had a problem with it. So there's some issues with the wiring on this, but that's secondary. Basically, I couldn't get any hot wire when I turned the key to the run position, and I'm not getting a lot of, I'm getting no joy at all from my test light probing that fuse panel. So anyway, we went ahead and hot wired it. And just as a reminder, on these HEIs, there's really just two connections that you have to worry about. You can see one says TAC and the other one says BAT. So if you put 12 volts to that BAT wire, which I have done here, then this thing should fire. As long as that distributor is turning, then it's gonna go ahead and generate spark. So we ran a wire from the BAT side over to this little funky connection here, thin wire, doesn't need much, and then that just goes to the positive side of the battery. So if I wanted to turn the engine off, I just do that. If I want to power up the HEI, then we do that. So we're running out of quick start here, but since we also don't have any action from the key, we've got a remote starter hooked up. So that's what we're going to do, is just go ahead and use the last of our quick start. It doesn't want to idle on its own, but it doesn't sound too bad. It was clattering. So let's see if we can get this thing started with one hand. All right, so this thing does run, doesn't sound too bad. The vacuum is at about 15 at idle. I don't have enough gas going to it to keep it running, so that's the next thing we're gonna have to troubleshoot. One thing that is unique about these type of carburetors is they have this steel line and then this, it's like a proprietary filter here. I don't really like these too much unless you have a spare handy, because if that starts to get restricted, that's not the kind of thing that you can usually pick up at an AutoZone or some other place. It's a real nice connection, and that's all good. I'm not really a fan of having filters this close to the intake manifold, but I mean, this one's real nice and tight with those connections. They're really good. But it's just the fact that you don't have a ready spare available at an auto parts store. So that's the first thing that I would do, is grab another one of these fuel filters and keep it with the van in case there's an issue. And that could be the problem. I don't know, but we're gonna get some more quick start, do a little more diagnosis on this fuel issue now, and see where we're at. Come along.